Welcome Sagittarius, Capricorn, to your September Astrodice reading. Hope you friends are doing great out there. If you friends like this, please like and subscribe. Okay, guys, let's see what's going on with your small horoscope this month. Best message, please, for Sagittarius, Capricorn. We've got the South Node coming up in the 6th house with Aquarius energy. Okay, so I'm going straight over here to this South Node. South Node is talking about that karmic. This is talking about what holds all your past karma. It is the road always traveled. So this is talking about the past lives and that karmic stuff being reactivated. So any patterns that you had been holding in the past, they're going to come back around that you've experienced. This means that you have not had a resolution to those karmic patterns. Could be a person, could be anything, could be a behavior, okay, or people with behavioral issues. Okay, so using Vesta over here, the goddess within, your sacred spiritual center and quiet dignity. And we've got Aquarius over here. Aquarius. Where is Aquarius? There we go. This energy is freedom-loving, rebellious, idealistic, and technological. So you could literally be saying that my patterns are something that has to do with maybe being around someone who is rebellious. It could be something that has to do with wanting freedom, something of this nature. So we'll see what's going on there. Talking about the 6th house. This is talking about those hobbies, the work, the health, the duty of your life. So it definitely could be something that's doing, you know, that you're doing, maybe even technological. I don't know, maybe you're playing with something that you shouldn't be playing with. Like, you know, I was an electrician, but I got myself electrocuted and I didn't learn not to play with the electricity while barefooted. I don't know, you know what I mean? You're gonna do it again, right? Okay, so take it how it resonates. It could be anything, but it's definitely talking about the work, health, and daily parts of your life, which is, even hobbies are included. So there's something going on here. It's very interesting. It's very, this could be relationships though too. Maybe you're learning, oh my gosh, and I heard it too. Stop dating the coworkers. You know it gets you fired or gets them fired or you're both fired. Causes work to become unstable, which you guys are no longer together, right? Wow, that's definitely for someone, because I've definitely heard that. Don't date the coworkers. Okay, here we go. Straight into the beginning of the month, the middle of the month, and the end of the month for you guys. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. We have under the karmic, we have the 3 of Pentacles, putting yourself on a pedestal. Maybe this is where your karmic is you're putting yourself on a pedestal. You're trying to make yourself, wow. It's almost like you've done this before. 2 of Wands. Ace of Wands. It's not good luck. You know, you need to stop doing that. So in the beginning of the month, you have the 3 of Pentacles. You may have even had another person putting you on a pedestal, right, for the success and the growth and the hard work getting noticed and the growth. So you definitely have that. You want to impress the people in power to pay off for you in the future, right? So maybe it is. Maybe that's what's going on, right? So in the beginning of the month, it's like I'm trying to get noticed. I'm trying to get to this great opportunity and this advancement. For some of you, stop dating the boss for the advancement. It's not going to work in the end, right? Seriously, right? It's like, okay, I'm going to wear my shirt really, really short so that way the boss notices me and I'm going to get that advancement. Oh, it didn't work in the past. That's karmic. Don't do it again, right? Okay. I know it seems illogical, but you'd be surprised, right? And then I have that one person that's like, oh my gosh, that's me. Okay, so 2 of Wands. 2 of Wands over here, right? Next to the Ace of Wands. But you know that it feels stuck. It was like an overconfidence. That's where your karmic is coming in. Don't make it to where it's overconfidence. You're getting noticed. You want it to pay off. You want everybody to succeed. You're putting yourself on a pedestal, but you have this. You're way overconfident about getting this job, getting this promotion, getting noticed by these people. But this, all it does is get you stuck, right? It just gets you stuck, and you're going to feel stuck in the very beginning of the month because the overconfidence, right, is really coming through. So it feels like the karmic pattern is, you know, in the beginning of the month, pretty much, is you getting overconfident about things that you think that you know, are going to have. The cycle is not changing. So you putting in all this success and all of this stuff with all of this, you know, over, right? You have to wait for the perfect timing. It's like you're wearing rose-colored glasses. It's the karmic. You're wearing rose-colored glasses. You are trying so hard to get noticed, and you think that whatever you're doing, you are like way overconfident about it. You need to really get justified and see the truth. See the truth within. Reflect on the truth that you're seeing, because the cycle is not changing. It's a pattern that it's an erratic pattern. That's what it is, because the Two of Wands is an erratic card. It's an erratic way of thinking. You're waiting for that cycle to change, but you're putting yourself way up high on a pedestal over here, that you're kind of like above everybody, thinking that it's great, right? And maybe it was great, but it's kind of like you're wearing rose-colored glasses. You have to wait for the perfect timing. It's not going to just be just because of this one little thing. And that's really the karmic. And here's a karmic card: Judgment, Justice, Devil, karmic cards. And that's really showing the karmic that's coming through. The truth of the matter is, clarify on the Justice. Waiting for the truth. It's going nowhere. So you have yourself in these really high hopes that it's a karmic pattern you've done before. And maybe it's kind of like, well, you know, maybe I did it wrong last time. But it isn't. It's that overconfidence of doing something that just didn't go anywhere. And so the truth of the matter is, that promotion that you want so high of, or whatever it is that you're looking for, my friends, it's more of a mindset of being way up high. And the truth is, it's not going in the direction you want it to go through. You have to wait for the perfect timing, and it's not now. So, and maybe it was because somebody said, you know, something to you, but that's just not the way it is. In the mid-month potentials. So watch those karmic patterns coming back. And maybe it was a hobby that you did too, and you thought you painted the best picture in the world, and you expected someone to really pay for it, and it just didn't go anywhere. It's just not the perfect timing yet for that to happen. Over here, it's like your karma is showing this kind of, I don't want to say inner weakness. It's just, it's kind of got a hold on you. That's, you know, when you're talking about that karma and the, you know, and the strength card, it's kind of like the karma is what's making you struggle. Let's put it that way, right? And it's overwhelming you. And it's kind of keeping you inconsistent with the things that you're doing, with the potentials. You have so much more potentials, right? You have a lot of big potentials coming. You can see that because of the perfect timing. So in mid-month, it's almost kind of like, well, I'm struggling. I'm trying to, you know, maybe even, you know, try to get through this overwhelming feeling. I don't understand why it didn't go my way in the beginning of the month. You might even feel like you're a little powerless at this time to manage the kind of the conflict that was going on within your mind of why you didn't get what you know, were looking for. and just trying to deal maybe with some power plays and struggling. And then you're kind of struggling over here, rebellious kind of, right? To try to open up these potentials and trying to get this moving with the Eight of Cups. And the Eight of Cups is kind of like, well, maybe, you know, it's a good time to change it around a little bit. You know, you might want to walk away from that one ideal, idealistic idea is what I'm trying to say. There's a lot of eyes, right? Because it's overwhelming you. So with the Eight of Cups over here, so it's kind of like confusion of why it was rejected, why it didn't go the way it was. It was because it was karmic, because you really put yourself up there and you really put yourself into a place of believing that, you know, it was all, you know what I mean? It was so erratic that it was actually, was almost like you set your own self up for letdown, right? So you get yourself way up in the clouds over here with this Aquarius energy. Wow. See that? You went way up into the air, and now you're going to like come down a little bit to the ground, and it's just going to drop you, right? And it's only because you're trying to better yourself, of course, with the Eight of Cups, right? But the problem is it just going to leave you feeling confused to why it didn't happen was because you were so up in the air. You know, Aquarius energy likes to really put themselves way up there on their crown, and they come up with these real up in the air ideas, you know. But can their energy actually withstand it? Of course it can for a lot of them. In fact, of course, when you have, you know, a lot of Aquarius in your energy, you know, in your chart, or you are that, a lot of times that's the only way they can function, right? But this is an Aquarius card that says, because I'm moving nowhere, I got myself way too high in the air. Maybe my ego was a little too out there, and now I have to crash and burn when they said no. When it didn't happen. Let's put it that way, right? So going over here to the Strength, now you have to pull yourself all back together because, like I said, now all that came crashing down to the ground in mid-month. Yeah. Now you have to release all the fears and all the things that were going on and have the realizations. Yeah. Not even really wanting to want to stand your ground for this anymore because it just feels like it was so up in the air. It got you nowhere, right? The weakness and the weakness of the idea. This was putting yourself on that pedestal. That's what this means, right? Putting yourself on the pedestal. Saying, I put myself on the pedestal to just be knocked right down to the ground. And that was the karmic. You have to learn, right, not to do that. You have to learn to find leverage within energy, with the balance over here. You need to leverage your balance, not allow yourself to get way erratically out there. Because that's not a part of manifestation. That's a part of kind of an ego trip, right? And we get that with the Aquarius. Anybody who knows an Aquarius can say, you know what, Aquarius have kind of an ego trip. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. You know, but it works well with them because it's theirs, right? And then some of them are just like, oh my God, can you come back to reality, right? When they get way out there, right? But they have that ego, they have that rebellion that's kind of already there, and you kind of using that energy really just pushed you down and really crashed you out. But you have the potentials, and you're going to see the doors opening, and you're going to see these other potentials coming around in the mid-month. So it's not all lost, right? Because you have to wait for the perfect timing. It didn't say it was all lost. It was just the way you were perceiving things, the way you got yourself way up high. And you're going to be multitasking a lot too to open these doors and to get to where you need to be. Yeah. But your faith and belief is going to be a little low. And that was because, my friend, you were up so high that once you fell, you kind of lost a little faith and belief, right? Within the sixth house. Of course. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because even though you see these, these doors, you're going to say, well, I had it all. I had it all. And the universe said no, or they said no, or it didn't work. So of course your faith and belief is going to be low. Of course you're going to feel like you're, backsliding away from you know, wanting to give this, that type of, you know, attention again, or thinking that this is really going to work, or however it is. And that's just because you know, like I said, you fell. Yeah. Because you don't, yeah, faith. You're not going to have the faith and belief, and you don't even want to think about the dream anymore. You're going to have, I'm going to say, like, lack of faith in this dream. So you're saying, I don't even really want to think about it. It was a disaster. You know, it was a total disaster. I don't even want to think about it anymore. Lack of conviction towards this dream, right? Because your retrospective is saying, no, it didn't work. My expectations were too high. That's what this card is, right? My expectations were too high. So I don't really have all of the faith and the belief in this project anymore. So they have the Eight of Cups, having the confusion. Why did I not get my satisfaction? How come it didn't give it what I wanted? I worked so hard. You know, I wanted that. There was a promise here. I tried to take this promise. I tried to take this. I wanted the Ace of Coins. I wanted these achievements. I got no achievements from this. And it feels like I have to start from the beginning. I don't even know if I want to start this project anymore with the Fool upside down. I just escape it. Maybe, you know, but just come to the conclusion that you maybe were unprepared, right? You got yourself so over prepared that you were actually a little underprepared. And then it's just like, you have to be fearless to step into a new direction. But it was like you were blinded by this up in the air karmic energy, right? So you know, definitely don't want to make any more rash decisions to get to the Ace of Coins, because the Spirit is saying, but you do have hopes and promises over here. Just stop making all these rash decisions. Stop trying to put yourself way out there, right? Because it's karmic. You got ahead of yourself. That's exactly what this is. You got ahead of yourself. And I've done that. Everybody on this planet's done this. This isn't anything new, because I've done this. I remember one time I thought I was going to get this job, and man, I put everything in the world into it. I went out and bought new pants, new shoes. I thought I had it. I didn't get it. I spent like $50 of what I didn't even have. And I remember I was young, and I remember even borrowing money from my mother-in-law to go buy these, you know, these shoes, because you have to have like oil slipped shoes or whatever to work at this restaurant. They didn't even give me the job, but I was like, I got it. You know, I went out and spent all this money. So it's, you know, we've all been there somehow or another, way ahead of myself. So I've never done that before. So it's saying that the Wheel of Fortune, not in that area, I'm sure I do it a lot. Just have to say, you know what, not in that area, but I'm sure we all do this some way or another. But anyways, the Wheel of Fortune over here is saying, okay, now your Wheel of Fortune is opening. You have figured out what you did wrong, whether it's by this reading or just by, you know, getting into your own intuition, figuring it out, talking to someone, something of the nature, but you figured it out with the Wheel of Fortune. Now your cycles are changing. So as soon as you figure this out, then you can make this karmic go away. Now, this is the kind of karmic, though, you have to do yourself, because it's one of those things that's like a repeating cycle that you keep doing, right? So it's actually on you. It's not one of those cycles where it's like, I'm tied to an ex and the ex keeps wanting to come back to me. It's not that, right? This is something you keep repeating, so you have to actually break the chain yourself from allowing it to do it. I think that patterns like these, though, are the hardest ones to break. I think the ones that are karmic partners and things like that are easier. Personally, because I could say, we learned this lesson today, but I will do this in 8 months from now. I'll do it again, or next year, or something like that, because I think these kind of patterns are just really hard. I just think they're really, really hard, because they're all to do personally with just yourself. So I think the South Node is the hardest. I think the North Node is actually easier. So you have the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, you're getting the cycle change because you feel like you're not getting your Nine of Cups. It's almost like, because, you know, it's like, it almost, you have this kind of feeling where you're like, well, I'm not getting to where I need to go, but I need my Chariot to come in. And yes, because you got into the knowing and you perceive things as, you know what, I didn't get this because I was in Aquarius. Here's an Aquarius card coming up. Because I didn't do it right. I got ahead of myself. I didn't analytically think about this, or I analytically thought about this too much and didn't use enough intuition, or I overthought the mess. You know what I'm saying? I thought I had this. With the King of Swords, he thinks he knows he's got everything, right? Like, I'm in the knowing. So you are in the knowing and you have the understanding of why you didn't get the Nine of Cups. You have the understanding. So this universe is saying, because it's all universal, it's a karmic thing that's universal. So it's saying, oh, you get it? Okay, your cycle can change now. Don't do that again. Watch your Chariot come in and I'll give you a new direction to work on. I'll give you this new idea. I'll help you bring in the light bulb for new things. But it's also saying, oh, because you were the King of Swords, you thought you knew everything. At that time, you thought you had this. You thought you knew this. You thought you knew that. And but now you know. Now you have the understanding. Oh, you get it. Okay, I'll open up the cycle, and now you can get back into your own energy over here with the King of Wands coming in going, thank God for my own energy, right? Whew. Now you can have that passion back. Now you can feel like you have that Sag power and feel empowered. Now you have your own kind of fire grounding around you in your own element and feeling more comfortable, more humble about the situation, right? Because now you can say, okay, I've got the ball back in my own court now. I have the understanding of what just happened. I understand that I kind of got a little carried away over there, got, you know, maybe a little on the high horse and thought I had everything. But now you're getting prepared. Right now you're using that instinct that you have instead of just up in the air, everything, you know, wonderful. But now everything is going to come back into retrospective of what you need, right? And feeling like you're now gaining that control. You know, guys, and I've said it all, I said it the end of last month, you know, Uranus, which is Aquarius's planet, is in retrograde. So it is affecting a lot of people. And this could be its way, and it's karmic. It's in retrograde. Retrograde is karmic. It's going to bring back karmic cycles. There's different planets have their own ways of doing things, and some are more karmic than others, like Mercury. We all know that, right? We're like, no. But I'm telling you right now, this Uranus, when it is backwards, it brings up all kinds of different kinds of karmic things. And I think that this one, is done by retrograde. If this resonates with you, my friends, it's because of the retrograde. It's bringing back that karmic to say, hey, you know what? Are you going to stay stable and do this, or do you want to go up in the air? Because I think that this being karmic and then having this Aquarius and then knowing that Uranus is in retrograde has everything to do with this scenario. Because it feels like to me, like you guys a lot of you haven't had this behavioral pattern for quite a while. So it feels like it's something that's come up just kind of out of the blue. And it feels like for a lot of you, you haven't done this in a long time, you know, and then you didn't catch it and it just happens, right? Because we don't catch ourselves when we do things, we just do it. But then you catch yourself at the end of the month and you're like, oh, schniz. And remember, it's in retrograde until like December. So, you know, Uranus has to go into a retrograde for at least like 4 or 5 months. So, yeah. And then, so for you to get back into your own power over here is going to make you feel very stable, because this is where you're going to catch yourself, put the ball back in your court and say, no more of that. I don't, you know, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because I think when you're getting this energy, you're going to say, I don't really get why I got ahead of myself. I think when you start really thinking about it, you're going to say, I don't understand what I did and why I did that, right? And it's because of that retrograde. That's the only reason I brought that up, was because I feel this feeling of, why would I allow myself to get so carried away into thinking that I had this? What makes me, you know what I'm saying? So it's almost like as soon as you hit your energy, it's going to make you think like, what the hell was I doing? Why did I do that? Why? Because it was your karmic. It was meant to be. It happened during a retrograde, and that's just the way the universe works, right? I'm not saying it wasn't your fault. What I'm trying to say was, why would energy want me to do something so hasty? I'm usually not a very hasty person. The King of Wands is not a hasty person. They think a lot. They're pretty grounded for a fire sign, right? They kind of, you know, when you want to do something, you put everything together because you're the prepared sign. I prepare for everything. So what would make me think I was so overly prepared, right? So I do feel like a lot of you are going to think that way, you know, because I really do feel that. Yeah, because it's like I watch my prosperities. I watch how I'm doing things. I'm very prepared, right, for my abundance and my prosperities. You know, and especially having that Capricorn in you guys, you are very grounded for that. And that's what it's saying. I'm prepared and I'm very grounded with, you know, with earth energy over here. This is not, you know, something that really happens, but it's because of judgment. Look at that. That's why, because it's karmic, because it's judgment, because the universe is like, because I said so. I knew you were going to do it. It's like, I knew you were going to do it. And I want you to get through this so that you can have your blessings and get away from this karmic. And I knew you were going to do it. It's almost like I waited for the perfect timing to catch you. Well, things are forewritten. They know things that we don't know, right? They know exactly when, you know, things are going to happen. And then you have the judgment over here as the last card. So this judgment coming out on this judgment over here is just saying, because I knew what you were going to do, but now I'm bringing in your blessings. Now that you figured out what your karmic was, now I'm blowing my horn and you have your blessings coming in. And they are because of the Wheel of Fortune. And this is saying because it's karmic. This is your karmic lesson. So just keep reflecting on what you just did and keep reflecting on what just happened. You know, keep yourself aware of what the hell happened this month. And this is only in the 6th house. Okay, it's only the 6th house. There's 12 houses, guys. Okay, it's only the 6th house. It's only in this work, health, duty of your life area. Okay, that's it. You have all these other, you know, you have all these other houses that it's not, we don't know if it's popping up in any of these other houses, okay, because we didn't do them. But I'm just saying, most of all this karma is coming up in this house. Also, if you know, right, you know that that North Node is coming, or, you know, that you have some kind of, well, you wouldn't have the South Node because they don't show them. But I was going to say, if you know that it's in your 6th house, and that could be why, but they don't show the South Nodes in the houses because they usually just pop up all over the place whenever they want to because they're more personality. But no matter what, I'm just saying you have all these other ones, you know, that it's not going to show its, you know, its face in. So you be fine, right, in other areas of your life. Yeah, this one's going to be your challenge right here. So once you do the reflecting at the end of the month and you know what's going on and you stay in the knowing, bam, you complete it for now. And, you know, and then the universe is like, okay, you learned it for now, but are you going to remember it next time? I hate the South Node. Okay. So anyways, it's going to bring in a transformation of the way, yeah, that you're progressing within the 6th house. Okay, and it's going to open up the passions, and it's going to ignite it. It's because you're going to get your intuition and have the better understanding of what's going on within the situation. Okay, and that was it for you, my friends. Until next time, peace and love. Bye-bye.